talked a lot about building my last big truck, and I don't know what I want to do with it, so we'll just live the time being. What size tires should she run? I'm saying like 42s. I was originally saying boggers, but now I'm saying 42s because they just look a lot cleaner and they ride nice. Yeah, you can't be able to step inside the truck, so it's definitely has to be bigger. Let's talk about it for a minute. What I got already done for it is front and rear axle trusses. I already have the King coilovers. The cradle's already done at the shop, just got to build the cross brace. Went ahead and we fixed the exhaust on it. Did new tail lights on it. And a few other things before it gets lifted. I do got to fix the tappet cover because it pours out oil. We had a little mishap with getting the oil leak fixed. So that would have been fixed, but the plans didn't go as well as we thought they would. Might put these axles on my red Cummins that you guys haven't even seen yet. I bought a extended cab, long bed, 128,000 mile, all original truck, off the original owner. It is rusty, but I might just use it for plowing or turn it into something that it shouldn't be turned into. Big old meat. Oh, well. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Now that everything is unhooked, we're gonna go ahead and take the U-bolts off, I think, or just drop these bolts out of it, which is gonna be a little difficult because the fuel tank's in our way, and that has to come out in order to do this. Rear axle is out. Had to remove the fuel tank. That wasn't fun. I got fuel all over me. Let's go up with the lift. And she's gone. Now we're gonna move to the front axle, get the front axle out of it, and then over there is our cradle. Get the cradle mocked up to it, drill some holes up. She should go in here around this body mount, and yeah, drill holes through this. Last thing to do, pop that drag link off. Probably gonna destroy it, but little button. Just like that, she's off. Now I can lift up the lift, and let's hope the axle stays where I want it to. Not taking the truck and drop down. These ones are nice, very nice. Get them all stripped down. Hopefully, maybe today, definitely in this video, we'll get them stripped down. That's got to go to its home, and these got to go inside. That's the first thing on the agenda for this morning. We are going through now, and we're gonna remove all the stock stuff off these axles. Got the sway bar off, the coil bucket mounts off, taking the radius arms off. I cut the ABS wire. We don't need ABS on this one. Well, we also buy new hubs. But now I get the drag link off, rack bar, and then moving to the rear axle and cutting that stuff off, along with cutting this whole ordeal off so our truss can fit up on there.
This is the worst part about all of this, is grinding off that whole deal and then we have to smooth it out. We're going to cut this a lot cleaner because the truss is actually going to sit right along here and along here. So that's all I got to get cleaned up. But no problem though, we'll get the grinder blades out, keep on cutting away with the plasma cutter.
I tell you guys what, my shop has AC, and when you're using the plasma cutter and the grinders, if you don't have the doors open, you will be blowing metal out of your nose for the next month. So the doors had to be open. But we're getting somewhere with this. Rear axle has all the brackets plasma cut off. All I have to do now is start smoothing them out where the welds are at. And same thing with the front axle. Set the truss up on there just to see how it looks. And I'm getting ready to cut the bump stops off of this frame. Cut these bump stops off of it. And then smooth that out. Probably gonna cut this off of here, I think. I don't know yet. So we have the rear axle all sanded down. Gonna have to weld up that right there where the plasma cutter got into the axle a little bit, but no big deal. The breather snapped off. That was a no bueno, but we'll drill that out, retap it, put up a new breather inside there because I did knock the truss out for that breather location. So I'm gonna weld up that little gouge and go from there. We have been freaking grinding away at this axle. It's miserable. Cutting this whole thing off is just not fun. So I'm still deciding what I want to do with these things. If I want to cut them off or not, or what I want to do. It looks like this one, that one is welded on, but that'll probably not be fun cleaning up inside of here. So maybe I should just leave these on the axle, which I probably will, and then I can always make a mount. Comes off of this for a sway bar. I think those are steel, so I should be able to weld to those. I don't think those are a casting. I know this is cast, this is cast. Obviously the knuckles are cast, but the whole axle tube is steel, so I should be able to weld onto those. But yeah, let's keep on grinding away and get this one to that point. And this one's almost done. Still gotta do finishing work, but it's all sanded down and truss is sitting on there. My little knockout for the breather turned out mint. I need to start doing those on all my axles I build. But yeah, this one's about ready to get tacked on and everything. And just like that, all the brackets we need cut off the axles are now off the axles. I went ahead and threw the other tires on that way they can just roll around easier. Rear truss is sitting on that axle. That one's all smoothed out. This one is ready to get set onto the axle. See how she turns out. Yeah, that does look really good. Matches the rear truss nice. There's the King's cradle, other cradle piece. Getting close to putting this on. I gotta get the bolts. I ordered an Allen head bolt to see how it looked, but it doesn't look too good. So we're gonna go ahead and get the grade 8 bolts we need for this and keep on going. Day 3 or day 4 of this build. And today I think I'm gonna get the axle trusses tacked on. I have parts at the laser shop that need to get cut and picked up to complete the upper cross members I have to build yet still for this truck. What do you guys think though of the axle truss design? I like it. And we have the cradle sitting on the frame. Now time to drill 18 3/4 inch holes to the side of this frame, and yeah, probably hate my life after that. So let's get that going. Oh boy, got the cradle mocked up on there, got 2 bolts on each side. But now, I designed a bracket to bolt in right here. And we're gonna do a piece of 1.5 inch DOM that slides right into here. I gotta weld it around on each side and I'll have a bolt-in cross support. And that should look good. What else? Get this all bolted up, drill all the holes for it. This thing fits perfectly. It looks really good. This thing should sit nice when it's done. I like it. Big truck lift. Big truck, but not as big as my big truck. Got the cross brace in, and she's welded. That looks good. I am just gonna tack it because I wanna make sure that it's what I need, and I wanna just tack it on because, God forbid, I'm fully welded, and for some odd ass reason I have to cut it off, but I don't think I'll have to cut it off, to be honest. It's looking good as it is. Lower forward coilover mounts is what they are on the website. The reason why they're forward is because it is a forward axle. So I'm making mounts for them. It bolts into the stock location, right where the coil bucket mount would bolt into. That goes right on there. And that's like that. So let's get over there. I'm gonna weld this one up. And the upper mounts for the coilovers are at the laser shop. The upper panhard mounts at the laser shop, and the rear upper cross members at the laser shop. And after that's all done, I could get going on the shocks, making the dummy shocks. So right now, from that point right there to the center of that point is the same as that point to that point. So the shocks will set the same height off the axle. I did get webbing I designed for right here, just to cap that off a little bit, a little more support. And then come up here to the knuckle. We're gonna have a high steer knuckle that comes up, flat plate right here, and a bolt through there. So then the tie rod will be side to side down there, and like 5 inches up, the panhard, not the panhard mount, 5 inches up like the OBS I did, will have the drag length that goes up to the gearbox. So once you get the Heim right there, sit like right here, if you guys look, that'll all plane evenly. So all of our angles should be pretty good on this thing. This is still just sitting there, don't mind it. Gotta get that tacked on there today somehow, some which way, somewhere, some why. So maybe in this video you guys see the overlays. We made a trip to the bolt store and we got 2.5 inch bolts. Reason being is for the rear, I designed a plate that sits right here. So if you guys can see this line right here, across, up and over, I designed a plate that's gonna go inside there. I'm gonna weld it all the way around, and then my other plate will sit flat like this, and then that gives us a 1/4 inch difference that this is from this. So that way everything's nice and tight, and then that'll go through, let's say, the whole frame and the upper cross member along with the plate that I designed. So once that's all inside there, this bolt will go through there, have one here, one here, one here, one here. Then our coilover mount will come out, bolt in down there. I bought bolts for down here too, but I got them a 1/2 inch too long, and that's hideous. So that's gonna come out of here in the next video. AirDog sent us a fuel system, so that'll be here soon. That's enough for today. I think we got a good amount of stuff done in the time we spent on it today. What do you guys think of this thing? Drop down in the comments what you guys think. This is about where it'll sit on 40s, I'd say. It won't skate that hard on 40s, but obviously a little bit higher because it's got baby tires on it. But in the next video, the parts will be here for the upper cross members and the front coilover mounts, and hopefully I can get the measurements pulled early next week for the arms and get her on the ground. And I gotta order a high steer knuckle and a bunch of that. You guys may be wondering, why is the bumper off? Well, the reason being is the bumper got ate up by the wheels. Good thing though, I got another Minty Sport bumper sitting there, along with another one sitting back there. There's 3 of them sitting here. And haven't talked about this yet. The bumper for my big truck. My big truck gets a big bumper. Taryn didn't want a big bumper. I offered it to her. She said, nope, I like the sport bumper better. So that'll go on my big truck, which will be coming out of its hibernation here soon a near future video.
Someone get the money counter, I can keep on thumbing it. Turn a 10 piece to a 20 quick. I got money busting out the money clip. Make a call and hit another lick. Someone get the money counter, I can keep on thumbing it. Okay, I'ma hit for 20 off a laptop. In a Zoom meeting, making money is my backdrop. Ballpoint base hit harder than a slap shot. Flew out my baby, told her rub me like I'm Epcot. Whoa, whoa, I've been doing road on the go, go. Get a bag and flip it, that's for sure. If it's show, show. That was never talk about nothing. Turn it down and go get you some money. Turn a 10 piece to a 20 quick. I got money busting out the money clip. Make a call and hit another lick. Someone get the money counter, I can keep on thumbing it. Turn a 10.
Axle in place. We did some adjustments and I changed out the front lower coilover mount to a smaller mount because the mount I had on it was this big giant mount. And I did that originally because I'd rather change out that bottom mount that cost me nothing to make versus changing out the truss or the upper cross member. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna take an inch out of this, put that up an inch, so then the truck should sit pretty solid, I would say, and it'll be level. Cause right now it's about an inch off the ground back here, and up there, the axle is touching the ground. So with that being said, I'm gonna design that, which I might have the file designed for that already. And then I'm gonna hang the axle, and then we should be able to pull measurements, and hopefully, we will have the arms on inside the next video. And welded a plate in right there because if you guys know, on the second gens, the frame's recessed in right here. So I welded in a 1/4 inch plate. So when I tighten it up, this will tighten up right to the frame. Got the new truss installed. I added a bunch of meat, big meat right here, because the other one had a bigger cutout. And I didn't like it. So now that's installed. Let's hope the fluid isn't a GFP style fluid. Yeah, the GFP water mod. And just like that, the diff fluid's all coming out of the front. We already got the rear cover off. It's underneath the workbench. And nothing came out of it because it was sitting upside down for a long time outside. And all the fluid drained all over the parking lot already. So right there, we're already winning. There's the old diff cover. 2008 axles these are. Or 2010, Logan said. Axles. But yeah, we're waiting for this to drain. I don't want to pull it off completely because I don't want it to pour out everywhere, but I'm going to put the new diff cover on that we got. Order the high steer knuckle today. I think me and her will. Or we'll wait and I'll try to build one, but maybe just order it like I did on the OBS. As y'all just seen, we got the truss welded on, I got the axle brackets welded on, the upper mounts are welded on, partially welded on. I still gotta weld the back brace, which I'll weld right here, in the center right here a little bit, then all the way down this edge. I have a plate that bolts in like that, that'll come out and down to the diff cover. So then there'll be no front to back movement at all because that truck did flex and that's why we have it all apart. Got the upper cross member in. I still gotta put the top bolts in, drill the top holes for it. Come around to the front. We got everything pretty much wrapped up for what we have. You guys seen it, got the diff cover on. That thing looks insane. I don't know why, but I really like this diff cover. It's definitely, I need to get into making those. I did buy it from Far From Stock. We got the top overlay on the truss. I re-tapped all of the holes on the cradle, the trusses, everything. So I didn't time lapse every arm getting built because I know you guys don't want to sit here and see a repetitive arm being built. But all 4 arms for the front are built and all 4 arms for the rear are built. Long time coming with this thing. Keep going. Keep going. She is on her own weight.
Putting these shocks on.
Oh. Because this will tell us how it's really gonna look once it's like all complete. And it's gonna sit nice like that. Good. Sit right in. Guess we can drop it all the way.
I play the cut with my homies, dressed in all black and we cozy. Can't say you love, you gotta show me. I ain't with my guys, then I'm dolly. Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them mind they biz, they'll catch my gist. Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them mind they biz, they'll catch my gist. I'm in the cut with my homies, I'm in the cut with my homies. Show no love to the police, show no love to the phonies. No love, no love. She wanna come to my homie, she wanna ride like a pony. Better pay up if you owe me, don't come around like you know me. Man's them moving too shaky, acting sus for no reason. Still do the dash like Stacy with a city girl. It's that C.
Fuel, depending on if we do 44s or 42s. We got the Kings all on it. We're waiting on a rear diff cover to come in. And I'm going to be building the rear sway bars for it here very, very shortly. Get those built. I'm gonna make a new exhaust hanger for this because that's just hideous. We don't want that right there. Make a new exhaust hanger that comes off and holds it up here. Maybe something that comes off right here with a nice hanger, and then I can run my sway bar right through there, and then it'll come over and down right into there, right there actually. And that'll be all good. Still gotta figure out what we're doing with the front sway bar. I do know I'm gonna do the external shock out of this location up to there. And then we have the front sway bar to build, which will probably come from the stock point, drop down, whatever, down into there. And then we have to weld the front panhard bar up completely because it is just tacked. But we made sure that was all aligned. I got the upper crossmember welded in. Got to swap pitman arms. I'm pretty sure I have the gearbox brace for it. So I'm going to order the drops for the sway bars. And then the gearbox brace will bolt on or drop. And then the block will weld to it that the sway bar bolts to. Angle is not too terrible. We can always do some adjusting to that. I can lower the back of the trans I probably get an inch out of it, which will make a big difference on the drive shaft. But the angle is not bad at all compared to some things that are out there. Check it out, I welded on these tabs for the brake lines. So now her brake lines will be held on like this. Looks a lot better than them just hanging on the outside. And I ran the brake line on the inside. This brake line right here is just temporary until we frame off it, then I run a really nice line. I'll probably try to run it on the inside of the truss, possibly, maybe. We're getting a new bolt for this, don't mind the bolt. Gonna put an Allen head bolt down there, obviously when we frame off it. This is just so we can get the first test drive in and get this thing moving around. And we have tracking on our high steer knuckle, so that should be here hopefully tomorrow. You guys will see that in this video. But we're gonna finish running these brake lines, waiting for the fittings to come in for there and for there. Then I have to change out this fitting on this end up there so it screws into that line. So we're gonna get that done, get those holes drilled for the upper cross member to stay all the way bolted on, and hopefully have brakes on this thing today. We threw some new calipers on it for the time being for the test drive, along with the brake lines are installed. Gotta do the reservoir mounts still. I know I'm slacking on those. Come over here, got that all hooked up nicely up there. Working on the rear, gonna throw the tires back on the front. Finally, we have a high steer knuckle for this truck. Weaver Fab came in clutch, got it shipped out to me decently fast. First thing we did was got the wheels off the truck. I have to take this off and that off, get that bar out of there. We're gonna go ahead and drill that out to 3/4. We're gonna come over here. We're gonna disassemble this whole knuckle, pop the caliper off, and we're gonna continue to remove this knuckle. And I got the high steer knuckle out of the box and over there ready to go. So this thing should be driving here very shortly. Let's get into taking this knuckle off, taking the caliper off, and keep on moving. I also have to weld this up before anything else happens before we drive it. So long story short, the high steer knuckle came, we got it installed, brake lines are installed, you guys seen all that. So here is the high steer knuckle that we got all bolted on, new ball joints in it. Obviously they'll come out again because we are frame offing it, but I wish that this all came a lot sooner. But we went ahead and got 2-inch spacers on it for now because I didn't like how close this was with the wheel, so I ordered 2-inch spacers for it. The oil leak has to get fixed.
Riding to the top, started from the floor. How we got up here, you don't need to know. Sniffing on an M, I need one of those. Sniffing on an M like I got a cold. Need to know, nah, you don't need to know. Need to know, nah, you don't need to know. How we got up here, you don't need to know. Hit me, but I keep you on a need to know. Came up from the bottom, started from the floor. Working 10 to 10 and a 10 to 4. Bags under my eyes on my mommy floor. Always knew the plan, I know dummy knows. Always been myself, never had to fake. Had to cut off friends, had to lose a weight. Took a couple L's, charged it to the game. Since I switched my lane, never been the same. Riding to the top, started from the floor. How we got up here, you don't need to know. Sniffing on an M, I need one of those.
But we're getting this pull off now. Then we are going to be able to do the frame off. And yes.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel
And
like.
as you guys seen, the body is now off of the frame. It's kind of weird seeing this truck like this because this is the only truck around here that hasn't been into 1,000 pieces. besides the fourth gen. That hasn't got tore apart yet. Now we're gonna load up the whole roller onto this trailer. No, just kidding. We're gonna throw the bed on here and the cab on here and then deliver that down to the painters in the morning, get that stuff all painted here shortly, and then we're gonna start tearing this apart very soon. So if you guys haven't seen the rendering, it has a lot of black accents on the truck. So I'm still debating if we do the door handles and the mirrors and color match everything on the body, or just leave all the black accents on the body so it matches the suspension. So this is finally dropped off to get painted because I don't know how to paint. Every time I paint, I mess it up. But get it all straightened out, and then they are going to do underneath of it, inside the bed, probably paint the windows, and make this thing beautiful. We're back to the shop, and we now have a 24 valve that floats in the air and is coming out of the truck. And that'll allow us to strip down everything now, to take it apart and get a powder coat. I have to smooth all this out and pop out these rivets and then sand it down so it's nice and smooth. I also have to cut off these mounts on the frame and then grind those down, which are gonna suck because those are the worst things to do. And that's why they haven't been cut off yet. Everything else is cut off and sanded down, but those aren't. So let's get this motor the rest of the way out and get this frame apart and hopefully to the powder coaters this weekend. Yeah.
Hey, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Hey, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In the yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't catch.
It is now disassembled for the most part. We still got to unbolt the cradle, unbolt the coilovers, unbolt the axles off of the coilovers, and then these can all go get disassembled. We are stripping them down completely so then we can powder coat the axle. So all the gears got to come out, diff covers got to come off, knuckles got to get taken out, ball joints got to be removed from the knuckles. We're going to disassemble the coilovers, get those all powder coated. Might do a Cerakote onto the actual shock itself. And we have to weld the caps onto here yet still. Cut the mounts off like I said. Unbolt the brake lines. Cross members already welded in completely. We have to make plates for the inside of the frame where I drill all the way through for the cradle bolt holes. That way the inside of the frame, you can't see the bolt holes. Gotta bend this back. Gotta drop the gearbox out of it yet still. The steering brace. The brake lines. Unbolt this. Pull all the lines off the frame right here. Get those all cleaned up and replaced. And then unbolt the spare tire hanger that's right here. Throw that in the garbage because I don't think we're gonna be able to fit a 44-inch spare tire underneath this truck, especially with the 5-inch exhaust and the train horns that it does have on the way for it. We already bought the new bushings for the axles. I have to order everything else still. Ball joints, all the seals, bearings, everything. Then once they're back in powder coat, we can send the axles out to get all the gears all set back up inside of them, make sure they're perfect, and possibly re-gear the truck for 44s. And who knows, maybe it might just end up on 30s, polished 30s that is, that are color matched to little baby's G-Wagon. Control arms laying around for days. Coil springs, sway bar, overlays, body mount, the steering, the Panhard bar, the drag link, sway bars, Cradle still has to come off the frame. And we are going to be taking this thing down to the powder coat shop. I think it's like in the center of Indiana. I found a guy that can do the whole frame, do everything all at once.
That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In the yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 milli on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars.
The whole frame's all stripped down, as you guys seen. And now all we have left to do is just chop off those mounts and then go over the whole frame to make sure it's ready for powder coat and make sure there's gonna be no imperfection that you guys will see through the powder coat, because we want this thing to be perfect. You guys seen the body's already out there, the axle's still gotta come apart, and in the next video on this truck, you guys might see powder coat done. I gotta talk to my guy on Monday when we drop it off and see how long he is out on it, but I'll keep you guys updated. The color that the frame is going is sick, and we have to order it from Prismatic Powders. Probably gonna buy like 200 pounds of it. That way every last piece can be powder coated. So we're gonna powder coat the brake lines, we're gonna powder coat all the ball joints, and maybe we'll powder coat the stands too, but I'm just kidding. The ball joints aren't getting powder coated. But we will definitely throw those stands in for the powder coat, along with whatever else we have laying around the shop that can just be powder coated, because why not? The powder coat color is so sick, I just want everything to be powder coated that color. With that being said, on this truck, we have a lot of work to do on it, as you guys see now. We have parts everywhere. The cradles are off of it, all the arms are off of it, fuel tank's out of it, and everything is about ready for powder coat. We have to pull out these Heim joints yet still and take off a few overlays, and then get the gas tank cleaned up. AirDog sent us out a fuel system and a sump, so the sump has to be installed on the fuel tank. Order up a new steering box for it, and then once this gets back from powder coat, we can start reassembling everything. The frame is done, so what we have to do now is I have to go all the way to, I think, Poland. It's a 26-hour drive there, grab the frame, and then, yes, come back to my shop and put it all together. So I'm gonna load up my gooseneck really quick, and we're gonna go drive overseas, grab the frame, pray that the quality is where I want it, because I want this thing like immaculate and like perfect. So hook that up and to Egypt we go. We have now arrived in Egypt. Yeah, that's what it was. But we're pulling up to CPC Powder Coat. They are the only shop I was able to find that could do this frame, and I'm just praying that I like the color, honestly. And it's probably somewhere in here. Yes, now we have to find where the frame is actually at. I'm fucking cold. I want to go home. So we're gonna load this thing up. I will show you guys at the shop. It's literally like 5 degrees outside here, and we're inside of a snowstorm.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win in my nigga.
The first thing that we're gonna put onto this truck would be an AirDog fuel system. The reason why you should go with AirDog is because their pumps are very quiet. They're small, they're not like a huge massive pump that hangs down 10 feet and about scrapes the ground and hits every single rock when you go over the lightest terrain. It's probably gonna have the most attention, I would say, of any build I built just because of the truck that it is. And I bet you when the truck's done, all hell's gonna break loose on social media because that's what this day and age has come to. But I'm building the truck because I love doing it. And why not just have like 30 monster trucks running around town? We're gonna go get out all of the lines, so brake lines, fuel lines, the wiring for the rear harness, get all that on the frame. Now, I'm still waiting for the suspension components to come back from powder coat. I got to see the axles today, which was pretty cool. And it's my first time having powder coated axles. Usually it's just, we take one of these and we just sandblast and spray the axles. So you guys are probably excited because I had a big truck, but I don't think I did YouTube at the time. And now I'm gonna have a lot of big trucks on my YouTube channel, which is what we want. And I'm about to go drag the fuel tank inside. I don't know why I'm still holding this, along with all the lines that are out back for this truck, and then dig out the rear wiring harness. AirDog's harness plugs right into the factory harness. I think it actually plugs into the factory sending unit, if I remember correctly, and that's all you have to do. And yes, it's very, very plug and play. But there is our pump, and where's the mount? Right there. Right here. Let's pull the mount out. And usually, I mount these things. I want to say I did do them right here. That's where they go. I mount them right there on these trucks. And just like that, the fuel system is installed. I know I said I mounted them right there, but I forgot that we have the cradle going on right here, along with the arms and everything. So I don't want anything to interfere with the fuel system hitting the control arms. Or, yes, when we jump it off Mount Everest, I definitely don't want the fuel system leaving the jet because then the truck won't run. So what we did is we drilled through the frame right there and we put the bolts on like that. So it sits a lot tighter to the frame than if we were to put it with the factory bracket that AirDog sends with it up there or on the inside of the frame. But now we're waiting on some more 90-degree fittings because I want to put the fittings that go from here straight down and under into the sump. And once we get the fittings in, we can throw the fuel tank in it, all the wiring for the rear, run it all along down in here, and then it'll clip up inside of here nicely, and back up into the bed. And we have the hitch coming yet still. I'm going to order a Gen Y hitch for this truck. And right now I'm gonna go find bolts for the gearbox, get that mounted, and I should be able to get the front brake lines on today, the rear brake line on today. I have to go find a return line for the fuel because I kind of broke this fitting on this one. I don't think that would pass the test. That's a little broken. I should have another one of those here out back. And yes, we will be monster jamming in no time. Let's get some brake lines hung up on this thing and let's get it ready for the suspension to come back here in the next video. So we're gonna mount this bracket right here onto there. That holds on the line and run it along the front of the frame. It actually jumps over the cross member we built to hold the front panhard bar on. And I want to say it bolts to the back of the factory cross member somewhere inside of here. Right there's a bolt hole. And there should be another one on this side of the frame to hold on the brake line.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hater plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great.
And just like that, frame off season is underway. And we're gonna call this perfection because the little baby truck is definitely gonna smack. And maybe I'll get a G-Wagon that matches this one because, yes, Little Baby's G-Wagon is probably the sickest color combo out there on the planet right now. And that's why this is going black and blue. But there's something about the black overlays on the blue powder coat that just, so we're gonna start getting this thing all back together. I have to get some more parts from Powder Coat tomorrow because they weren't all done today and they powder coated a lot of stuff. They did axles, the hitch, all the overlays, the control arms, the cradles, the upper cross member, the sway bar, all of these deals that, I don't even know what these are called. No, I'm kidding. All the axle shafts, the caliper mounts, these yoke deals that go on the end of the axle shafts, and then they slide into the hub. Our high steer plate that goes onto the top of this, which I thought that was supposed to be black, but I guess I can't complain there. Diff cover right here, this diff cover. Before you guys jump to conclusion and say that's not welded, it's so the water can drain because we don't want to have our water built up inside there and then our diff cover rust out and then have a rusty truck, because I won't build a rotted out truck. That's just not my type. We are hard at work getting this thing done, and I am just like amazed with the color combo on it. And yeah, that's definitely gonna look insane once we get all the black accents on it and get all the overlays onto the axles and the sway bar on it, sway bar overlays. We're going tomorrow to pick up the rest of the black powder coated stuff, so all the tubing, the links for the sway bars, and a lot of the small parts for the truck, like the body mounts, all that stuff's going black. And now it's time for the fun part. That's getting our new bushings into the axle. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go down to Home Depot and find a contraption to build to mount these into those axles because they're not fun. And then we gotta go pick up some ball joints, some hubs, brake pads, and send someone out to the powder coat shop because I don't want to drive out there today. I really just want to get this thing all done. And powder coat's about a 3-hour round trip. And 3 hours here can definitely get this front axle on the ground. And all the stuff black-wise is back from powder coat. I am missing though the body mounts for it, so I have to call them, get those, because we kind of need them to set the body on the truck. But other than that, everything else looks like it's here. Now it's time to assemble. Y'all may ask yourself, why is he putting on steel shocks when the truck has coilovers for it? Well, the reason being is that we're gonna build it with the dummy shocks on it because this is exactly where it sits at ride height, which will allow me to get everything aligned without having the shocks on there, because obviously the body's gonna compress the shocks down more. So if I throw the coilovers on it now, that means it's gonna sit a lot taller than it'll sit with the body on it. And I'm trying to get it all aligned and like done ASAP. The best part is cleaning powder coat out of these bushing sleeve deals. And we're gonna push this one back out because yes, it has powder coat inside there and that's no good. I guess you could say our contraption worked of PVC pipe, axle tab brackets, and the impact. But we got one control arm on, and this thing is now finally starting to come together. I have to figure out which arm is which though, because I think the longer one's for the bottom, or the smaller one's for the top, or one way they go. I forgot. I gotta look at my computer and see. But we got the rear axle getting put together. Doughboy ran and got a socket, I guess, to tighten these up. So that'll be tight. We'll be able to throw the rotors on, get the calipers all reassembled because they got powder coated. And yes, they're all brand new. All the stuff's brand new. We'll get all that mounted on today. Hopefully get the gears in it today. Take the axle shafts to the drive shaft place. Get the O-rings that go on the axle shafts for the rear to seal that. Clean out the differential. Get the sway bar mounted up. Get the links on it. We have to bolt in the cradle still because it's just held on right now, I think, by 2 bolts right there. And at some point, this has to get clean to get the sump installed, mounted in the truck, because we actually got the gas tank straps powder coated for it. So that should look pretty good up inside there, holding in our fuel tank. We have to gather a lot of things, including hubs, U-joints for the axle shafts. The coilovers need polish yet still because they look like this, and that's not gonna fly on this truck. But they're up there, and now we're gonna get those polished here, hopefully this week. And that'll allow us to get this thing back on the ground. I'm gonna go order all the covers for the ball joints and like the nuts, the covers that like cover them up. And we have to buy the seals for the front axle. And go figure, we let Doughboy party with this thing, and he decides that, you know, the hole right here isn't for the tool I told him to use. We're actually going to O'Reilly's. We're gonna gather all the seals and stuff for this truck. I have to go to, I think, Indiana Driveline is called, They have the U-joints. They're going to install them for us because I don't feel like dealing with these. We have to find a tap yet still for the Heim joints. I'm going to order a tap or make my own tap out of the Heim joints I have laying around here. Get the seals for the axle shafts in the rear. I need the crush sleeve for the pinion. I already have the rear seals installed on it actually. Brand new rear seals inside there that our wonderful Doe baby put on. And at least he didn't strip out the seals if that's possible. But he definitely smoked this thing right here, as I just showed you guys. And now, yeah, but we need a new one of these. I could probably chase the threads on here, and I'm pretty sure he might have already ordered up a new nut. And yeah, also the hubs are gonna be here. We ordered them from Detroit Axle. So now O'Reilly's just gotta go grab the seals for the front, and that should be good. O'Reilly's came in clutch. We got the seal for the front of the pinion right here. So that slides into there. All brand new, of course, because why would we want to reuse old seals like some of the truck builders out there do? And not even the truck builders, but people like the half-ass stuff. I'm not half-assing this truck. Everything's gonna be brand new, all new ball joints, everything, the whole nine. Every bolt is being replaced. So that's the way you want to do it. We got all the overlays on already. The cross braces in. We got to bolt in the cradle yet still. I don't think any of these bolts are tight besides the back ones. We got to tighten up the air dog along with clean the fuel tank like I said, install the sump and the trans cross member, all the calipers, buy new body mounts, mount the sway bar. We got to grind down some of the sway bar right here from where the powder coat's at. That way it actually spins freely on there. And we'll use our aluminum blocks right here that the sway bar is held onto the frame with. It's all about the details, guys. And this is why we powder coated our hitch, because why would we not want to have a hitch? When I'm buying 4 jet skis here in the spring, I definitely need to be able to tow all of them at once with this truck. And that's why we went ahead and put a hitch back on it and not left it off. And now we can buy the Gen Y for it, along with the braces that go on with Heim joints. This rotor could probably go back on now, to be honest. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Now the rotors are on the back of it. I need to order the caliper mount bolts right now. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then we will get those installed today, along with the rebuild kit that's on the way for the brake calipers. Because all the calipers got powder coated actually. And that's probably going to be a headache getting them to go back together. Because, yes. Imagine this. Imagine putting this rusty ball joint back inside there. That probably wouldn't have looked too good, to be honest with you. First, we're gonna get this thing rolling, put it into this bay, because it's just about done. All we gotta do is put the front coilovers on and throw the calipers on, and then the roller is done and it can get the motor tossed in it, throw the rear brake lines on it, and this thing should be ready to rip here in the very near future. I know the body's about to get painted. I've seen that. These are not for this truck. I just had to put them on here because my stock wheels always vanish. This is all we had here, so now I can roll this truck around with these wheels on it and get it into this bay where I'm going to finalize everything, then back the trailer up to the bay, load up the little baby truck onto the trailer, and then probably take it over to Cole Motors so I can have my motor and trans set into it. Then from there on out, it'll go down to Indianapolis where I will set the body onto it and either back here or to Florida to get everything wired up, everything bolted down, the body panels aligned. And yeah, we are so close on this because once I get the motor and trans in and set the body on, it'll take me maybe a day or two to get it running and driving because I'm getting ready to align the front wheels. Unfortunately, with the tires I have on it, I have to do it with a tape measure, which is fine. Once it's done, I can take it to an alignment shop on stock wheels and get it like completely dialed. But we will see how it drives first prior to that because it's very, very good adjustability when it comes to adjusting like your steering wheel or your toe in and out. So you just unbolt this, unloosen the Heim joint, or with this, you just twist this. That'll adjust your steering wheel. But front axle's done. All that stuff's on. We have to get these things drilled out a little bit so the holes line up. Never again will I probably ever overlay something that has a bend inside of it. I learned that lesson, so we won't do that again. I have to get the overlays cut for the cradle, the front truss, the sides of the rear truss because they are no longer on there. And if you guys don't know the story of the truck, there's a reason the overlays aren't on it, but that's fine. We can get them recut. It's not the end of the world. How about that? That looks quite insane to have on the inside of the cradle. It's all about the details on the truck. I think we definitely achieved that when it comes to this truck. Have to get the sump installed. I already cut the hole inside the bottom of the tank for that. Get our fuel lines ran, so we'll have this one go up to the motor. This one will go down to the sump. and this one will go down to the sump, and that should look pretty sick inside of there. I wish I would have mounted it differently, not up there, because that's gonna be a tight fit. So maybe we'll have to move the sump somewhere else, or just now need a new fuel tank. When the time comes, we will deal with that. I didn't account for the top arm and the sump, but there should be some easy way around that. The wiring turned out phenomenal on this. I still have to figure out this one last wire. I forgot what it hooked up to, but it was something that gave power to this. Then I also have to get a new one of these because I got the one at the wrong end. And I don't think a circle will plug into a rectangle, but that is probably for the mega cab, I would assume. Grab more bolts for the rest of the diff cover because Brandon lost them in the gist of moving all of these nuts and bolts around, and I did very well on saving nuts and bolts. Besides the overlay screws, there are no more overlay screws. This truck had all the overlays on it prior to taking it apart, so I don't know where all these little 1/4 bolts went. I've been waiting a while now for the calipers to get here, so maybe we should run down to Lafayette, Indiana and check out the body really quick because I'm getting impatient and I don't feel like waiting for these calipers to show up anymore because that's all I have left. So let's go down there and check out the body really fast.
Driving on the road like I'm the only one. Shooting to the green, I talk a hole in one. Bible on the dash, they with the holy wine. I know I put in work, they didn't notice none. Switch gears, clubhouse, took me 6 years. Marble floors, gold trim, feel like I'm Richie Rich, Italian left. French suede, I mix the fist sick, quick loss, take a risk, we play for the win. Might spend $1 million at the rug store like man afford. But making purchases you can't afford. I move the money like it's illegal. Something more of rigor mortis. Where I move dead, people lay low. Took L's, know how those days go. Say so, he say, but nothing ain't no pesos. Deals locked, it's like a case closed. Bankroll, different league, we don't use money phones. Trusting the artists.
As you guys see, the body's immaculate. This is immaculate. The doors are straight. And it's about ready for me to, let's not total this second gen because I haven't drove a second gen since I totaled my last one. It's got a nice hood. Kind of forgot I had this hood. Sport bumper, 4 doors, a bed, a tailgate, and a cab. So back to Chicago because I got to finish the roller because they probably want this thing out of their garage and I want it back. We are back at the shop and I literally just drove 4 hours for 40 seconds of this video, but I actually did want to see the truck because I hadn't seen it since I took it apart here months back, 3-4 months ago, and it was kind of cool to see the truck all straight and in the process of getting painted. This is about done. The motor doesn't have much more to go on it. I have to order the head for it, and that's it. And the head will be here in about a week, I would say. See that the calipers are here too for this truck because we had the ones that were powder coated, but the people who powder coated them didn't really take their time, so we have to get new calipers, and that's exactly what we did. So these will come back apart, get painted, and we will throw brake pads on it. We have to go buy brake pads from O'Reilly's yet still. And then once that's done, I don't think there's anything else left on the suspension besides overlays, which can get thrown on at any time because I designed them to where the bolts don't go through them. They wrap around all the bolts, just like this. So those will go on fairly easily. And other than that, we gotta finish up the speed sensor wires. That'll be easy, do that whenever. And this thing's literally done. The roller is complete, I would say. Ready for the body to go on it, and the sump needs to be installed yet still. That should be here at any minute. There you guys have it, my 24-inch lifted extended cab short bed second gen Cummins with a 24 valve and a 5-speed in it is just about in its final stages because this is the most tedious, longest process of the truck. The body will be done here very shortly. That'll go on in literally hours. We gotta throw the interior back in it, a couple more hours on that. set the motor and trans inside of it, wire all that up. I want this truck perfect. This is really my first build, personally, that everything is brand new on. I bought literally, whatever can be bought new, I bought new for it. So brake calipers, the rotors, the U-joints, every seal in the axles replaced. Everything on it is literally perfect. I know I could have reused some things on it, but why reuse things when I'm this far into it and it's already apart? So I went out, I got everything new. As you guys see, all I gotta get left for it right now in order is the bushing that goes on the bottom of the steering box brace, and maybe we'll overlay this brace right here. Put an overlay on that. But let's get this thing wiped down, quick waxed, and she should, I would say, shine a little bit better. And I have to go pick up the sump from the house because it just got delivered. And then we gotta figure that out because the hole that I drilled for it is right here. It's in the right spot, but it might interfere with this arm. So we're gonna install it, see how it sits. Worst comes to worst, I have to design new arms for it. Let's get into wiping this thing down. Fuel tank installed, return line ran behind the tank. Now we gotta get the sump installed, and actually the more I look at it now, we should have enough clearance here between all of this on the inside to get that sump mounted in. Now we have a lot more inches because I turned the shocks up a little bit because I forgot that the truck was cranked up 4 inches in the rear. So now we have plenty of room to put our sump. And just like that, we finally have the sump installed. I've been waiting a long time to do this, and now that I got the fuel tank problem solved and there's enough clearance, it's time for the motor trans and the body to go on it. All I have left to do now, on the pigtail that plugs into the axle, to make it from the 2nd gen harness, I cut the plug off, onto the Ford axle because these are 2008 F250 axles. Reason being is that they're way more beefier, they're way more usable, I would say. They have disc brakes on them now because the truck didn't have disc brakes on it from the start. They had drums. And we have to mount this right here somehow because it's loose, and I kind of covered up the hole when I built this mount. Not a big deal though, I can always drill a hole straight through it and put a nice bolt on there, nut bolts on each side. It's a good day, I would say, besides it snowing and being 32 degrees outside. That's the Indiana weather we have to deal with. Right now we are 44 minutes away from something that you guys have been waiting to see for a very long time. And let's just say it's supposedly flawless. So we're gonna find out how flawless it is because it's been about, how many months, Doughboy? 3. It's been about 3 months now. I have been waiting to pick this thing up, and I want it back. I want to drive my truck again because I haven't driven it in probably how many months?
3.
No, about 5 months I haven't driven it.
2 days before we brought the body down.
Okay, I drove it 3 months ago, but I don't know. Doing a frame off truck in 3 months is a very, very, very long time. I mean, I know people who've done them in 3 years. I won't really say names, but we're going to pick up the body for my truck, for the blue and black truck, and I am like ecstatic on how it's going to look once it's on the frame. This is probably the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in my life. Because there's a lot of money into this, and a lot of time. And yes, it's perfect. If it gets scratched, you're gonna see me on the news. That's depressing, Doughboy.
What is?
How dirty my truck is.
It's all run for the mud bogs.
Yeah, went through the mud bogs with it last night. With the blizzard with this. I washed this truck this morning on the way to the shop. It's dirty again. Anyways, yes. Now we gotta sand all this down really quick. Raptor line it or single stage black it. What do you guys think? Never mind, I think Raptor liner. It'll hold up, be more durable and everything. How about that firewall that's painted now? Oh my God. It's almost like I have a race truck, right?
It's not really a race.
A lifted race truck? Yes. I can't breathe. Here's the moment we've all been waiting for. The body is gonna get set down on it. Okay. This is insane. Stop, you're gonna bend my damn hood. Doughboy, enough. Oh yeah, how about the cowl hood? It's almost like we're gonna drive it with no windshield. I love how it didn't compress at all. That's cool. Oh, okay. Sick. My body's on my frame. Yeah. No, we don't play like that. I don't. The bed is getting ready to be Raptor lined. That literally looks insane. I cannot get over how this truck is turning out and how sick this thing should look when the body's all on it. But right now, we gotta deal with this.
I think you only love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's robbing. Tyson with the fade, not the hair, my hands rockin'. When I link with ballpoint, you know it's knocking. I'm not the same. Thinking money made me change, nothing else to blame. Bougie stuck up in my way, singing Gucci gang. Gucci gang, think I'm Gucci Mane. I'm just playing in the cut, I got my Vans on. I'm not selfish, I get on to put my mans on. Always greedy since the day I got my first safe. 5'7", but I'm 6'8" when I stand on the money pals. Need a money counter, I broke my thumb from thumbing down. Wifey on my line, she told me to dumb it down. Mama on my line, asking how I'm dumbing now. I think you only love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup.
I really cannot get over how this truck is turning out. And it's a big relief now that we have the body on the truck besides the two front fenders. So back when the truck was on 26s, on stock suspension, if you guys remember, about 6 months ago, I would say, the fenders had gotten smashed because Brandon didn't care and he just smashed the wheels into the fenders. I don't know why, but at that moment, I don't think I was lifting the truck. I think I was gonna sell it. But now, here we are. The truck's lifted. Obviously the fenders are missing and the grill's missing, but we'll get new ones down in Florida. And right now, it's literally perfect. Like, everything's done right, everything's new. So there's no point rushing this truck. Now the decision is here. Okay, so it has a lot of blue on the truck, as you guys can see. Do I color match the taillights blue, or do I leave them black taillights, black third light? I will do the bumper blue with the black top pieces. Obviously the bed's gonna get all done, Raptor line, full sound system inside there. Might be something else inside there. I don't know if we'll do the flooring inside of it. Obviously a bed cover as well. Do we color match door handles or leave them black? Same with mirrors. I'm really leaning towards leaving everything accent-wise on the body, so handles, mirrors, headlights, taillights, any lights on it, black, the grill insert black, because it already has a lot of black on it, and I want to break that up. If you guys haven't noticed, if you haven't been following along this closely, this hood was on the lime green Duramax, the gray truck, and now this truck. Might have been on the blue truck. No, the blue truck hood actually got smashed by the accident, so this wasn't that hood. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. The overlays are already all designed. I have to get those cut yet still and powder coated. Good thing we know a guy that uses the powder coat gun, Mr. Doughboy. Your powder coating business you're starting? The dash is currently still out of the truck, and that's because I wanted to replace it because the one that was inside of it was destroyed. The radar didn't work, the lights didn't turn on sometimes taillights would just stay on. Yeah, let me know what you guys think on this. We got the bumper, the fenders, and the grill yet still to get done. But when I'm back from Florida, I'm gonna grab that stuff on the way back up, and then the first week of April, the body on this will be complete. And hopefully by then the motor is done at Kohl's. I just gotta figure out a way to get this truck down to Cole Motors over in Bernie, Indiana. And then yeah, we are closing in on this. Oh my God, the color outside is literally way different than what you guys just seen inside. And I am like ecstatic right now. Like I don't even know what to think anymore because this thing is like, what? It's literally perfect. Everything is finally coming together on it. Got the whole underside of the body already all done. Raptor line, that looks awesome. And now we have to just get the motor and trans set in it, the drive shaft, the front fenders, and we'll be driving this thing very shortly. I cannot wait to get these wheels and tires off of it and get my 30s from TIS on there and maybe some Venom tires, 42s. What do you guys think? 42s, 44s, or 56s? Will it clear 56s? Now for the nerve-wracking part. I got a ratchet strap because there's no winch controller and that might get scratched. It shouldn't though. I've had pretty good luck with these. We're gonna hook up this to the back of Doe Baby 6.0. If the hitch rips off of it, then we're losing it. Go figure, it starts snowing as soon as we go and load up my little baby truck. Mega cab, 2nd gen. Maybe that's a nice setup. Should we get a little trailer like this for just that truck? So stars in that, rock lights on that loading. As soon as it's done here at Cole Motors, getting the motor and trans set into it. As you know, I don't build trucks, I just film them. I've never built a truck and yeah, I just pay everyone to do all my stuff. Mega Cab is clean. That's getting unstrapped. We're about to unload it. I gotta lift it off with the forklift somehow because it has no brakes. Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Do we just lift up the back of it and hope it doesn't slide? Lift up the side of it and then pull the trailer out underneath? Our luck, it ain't gonna hit the damn garage door.
Well, your alignment's good, it's just gonna go straight.
If my alignment's good. This is gonna go right through Cole's door and I owe him more than Bill for the motor. We need to find a block because this is gonna fall down. The truck is unloaded. We can now back this out of the shop. And Cole now has a little baby truck in his possession. Which means when it gets picked up here in like 2 weeks after I get home from Florida, the motor and trans will be in it. And then I think all the wiring is still here for it. All I gotta do to that is clean up the harness and re-loom it. And we'll be driving this truck very shortly. Wait a sec. The blue truck is back, but unfortunately, as you guys see, the motor's not in it. And we had a little mishap with the head on it, and I made another financial mistake, and I want it perfect, so it'll be all right. Got a minty dash for it, though. We got the mirrors on it. The taillights are in. We're working on cleaning out the bed so I can Raptor line it, so then it's not all 10 different colors. The core support is on. The dash is about to go in it. Oh my God. My fenders, they've arrived. I don't think I could be any happier, literally.
Well, they're blue.
What?
They're blue.
They're blue. This thing blue. What color? Blue. I don't think I've ever been so excited in my life for a freaking fender. But I know. Oh yeah, that's the problem. The bumper's in the way.
New X on me right. New X on me right. I might spin it, I might hide. New X on me right. New X on me right. I might spin it,
Motor and trans is coming this week. I have to call for a windshield to come get installed We already have the dash back into it. I have to get the clips, like I said, to get that bolted in though. And then we have to order a clocking ring for the transfer case. That way it clocks the T-case to where the front drive shaft fits in it very nicely. Pull the rear drive shaft down, get that powder coated. And then after that, we've got the overlays to put on it. Those are getting cut this week and powder coated. And then this thing should be on the road about 3 days after the motor and trans is sitting on it, because I have everything here that I need besides motor and trans, like I said. And this thing will literally look probably a lot better once the front of it's down, because right now it's gangster leaning, and we cannot have a gangster lean because, I don't know, this versus that is definitely tooted up a lot, I would say. I don't want to have a gangster leaning truck. I want it to sit nice. And then we got 26 by 14 TIS wheels along with 40-inch Venom Power tires on the way from it. But that's what's going on with the little baby truck. It's a very good day, as you guys see, because it's 80 degrees outside. I'm in my hometown, and I'm driving my baby blue second gen, which is now getting its first bath ever. I actually went and picked up some brand new microfibers because I had one inside the truck that was a little bit dirty, and I don't want to use that inside the car wash with my brand new paint. It made it to the car wash. We're on the first drive right now. Any more happy with how this thing's turned out? Don't mind the baby wheels, because TIS came through with 26 by 16 560Bs and 40-inch Venom tires, along with 2-inch spacers that we already have on the front. They haven't come in for the rear yet, but once the spacers are on it, this thing should definitely stick out to like right here. But Doughboy is currently cleaning up his, what are you cleaning up? Your Forgiatos? I bet. The overlays on it and everything else. But let's get into a little cinematic of this truck for the first time on the road with the new frame off. And let's get this thing clean for the first time, because it is absolutely filthy.
Thing to do my thing, it's what I did the best. I copped that crib and bought 2 chains, and then I hid the rest. And it's okay to do your thing, but just don't do the most. I put my friends in that old Benz and took that to the coast. It ain't no thing to do my thing, it's what I do the best. I fill my mattress, pay my taxes, then I blew the rest. And it's okay.
I forgot to install the wiper blades because, you know, the windshield is kind of duct taped in because I got impatient and wanted to drive it, so it's squeaking louder on the Doughboy. But it's Sunday. I want to take it out for a spin because it's 80 degrees outside, and now it's finally clean. It just leaks water. Look at this. But you know what? It'll be fine. It'll buff out. Let's take it out on the highway. And this always happens. So, little dilemma. It did a Gabe Farrell mod, and it destroyed the belt and blew the crankcase thing off with it. Is it still intact? Let's see. Flip it over. Okay, well, we got the crankcase vent. Now we just have to figure out a belt and a trailer. With that crankcase breather falling off, it decided to pour oil all over the freaking axle. That's amazing. It is a second gen, but still, it should not. Well, I mean, it's a 25-year-old motor, and the belt snaps. Not the end of the world. Fuck! Look it.
Oh, well, that's
It's now covered in oil again.
That's just from the drive.
Oh my god. Look at my fucking frame. So this is stuff you guys don't really see behind the scenes, because maybe all my builds look clean to you guys on social media, but I just spent the last hour detailing this truck, and now it's covered in oil again. We got the crankcase breather back on it, and then Doughboy found his seat underneath it. So it's a little shady down there, but now we gotta go grab my mega cab and the gooseneck, and this just turned into a whole probably 3-hour process. Well, there's no belt on it now, but what do you think?
It does not need an alternator to run.
It doesn't need an alternator to run. I don't think it needs batteries to run.
It don't need that either, but it does need an alternator.
Well, I can't tell how hot it is because the dash doesn't work right now, but hey, we are driving a little baby truck, and that's all that matters right now, because it's been a long time coming, and you guys are gonna have nothing but big truck content now. Yeah, this thing rolls out. Time to go home and hopefully get it parked before the storm. But oh my god. 40s on it, TIS wheels, of course. Get back to the shop with this truck, and Doughboy's rental wheel service is pretty freaking good if you ask me. 24x14s, like I said, and it's going on 3 days.
We're gonna test out that branded 24V polished job.
The brand 24V polished out job? Jesus, I can't speak. I gotta get them polished for you? All right. Let's call a local detailer to come and clean them for us.
This motherfucker filthy.
It is a Cummins. It is a fresh frame off with literally maybe 100 miles on it. But we have detailers, so I'm not worried about that. I guess we'll take the SEMA truck out for a rip really quick. It's probably out of fuel, but we'll deal with that when we're out on the road.
You find mud at?
I don't know.
It's a pavement process. It shouldn't be going off of this.
We have been driving this truck for literally the last 3 days now, and I love how it's turning out. You guys see that this thing rolls out down the highway. It still needs an alignment. There's our first puddle it's gonna hit. That's not good. That's not good at all. We're off-roading it now. Oh.
Got it.
Yeah, it's wet. What are we doing right now, Doughboy? No, this truck is not leading into this.
I mean, kind of already is.
Flexing for the first time.
Flex now. Probably the middle over there.
So I guess this is kind of our first time flexing out this truck. And yeah, it's a little flex. What do you guys think though? The little baby truck is on Doughboy's wheels and tires for now. And then I'm hoping my powder coat gets done next week for this truck. And then I'll have my 26s and 40s on it. All the overlays will be on it. Then wheel liners and all the lighting. And then we are off to Atlantic City truck meet with it. The rear doesn't flex.
Almost like it's got a spin bar on it.
It's got a sway bar back there, but not a sway bar up there. Jesus, that is flexed out. But that just looks kind of insane. Drop a comment, let me know what you guys think about this truck. Besides it's filthy, it's nice, it runs good, it shifts good, and it rides good. And I cannot be any happier with how this thing turned out. But we're gonna take these off, get it back onto the stock wheels. Then Cole's coming to get it, and I think he's dropping it off at the alignment shop on Wednesday. And then he'll get aligned Wednesday. And then I'm hoping maybe my wheels are all done and powder coated by then. Slap those on, slap the faceplates back on it. And then we will be back to frickin' mobbing the blue truck around. But let me know what you guys think I should do with this thing. Should we launch it into that pond? Should we jump it? Should we keep it nice? Keep it nice, launch it in a pond, and jump it. Yes. And we have a little mishap here. The stock wheels are back on it. Reason being is it has to get an alignment. It needs a windshield put in it, and Cole needs to pick it up to do some adjustments to the engine. Then after this thing's back from the alignment, Cole's in the windshield place. I gotta throw the wheel liners in it, get the rock lights installed. Which I'm gonna start doing the rock lights here tomorrow into the wheel liners. Then I'll build a harness that goes onto it. So then when the truck's back, I slap the wheel liners in and plug the harness in. Then we'll have to mount like 30 to 40 other rock lights all underneath the body, which should be pretty fun. So we'll put them up in the bed, in the corners, all around the whole truck. Probably underneath the cradle, I would say. Definitely some down the center. Get the exhaust hung up in the rear because it is just sitting on there right now on a little microfiber, if you guys can see it. I have to find a hanger that I don't have to scratch up my exhaust because it's all freshly Cerakoted, and I don't want to have any problems with that because the exhaust looks very nice and it's actually holding up very well to the heat. Especially since we've been driving this truck for like the last 3-4 days now, and I know it's gotten hot because I drive it like I stole it, and that's probably why it's gotten hot. That is the current state of the blue truck. I have the reservoir mounts designed for the rear ready. Those need to just get cut, welded, and then I'll get them painted or powder coated. The interior is about all back together. We have to get the door handle piece for this. Install the bottom of the steering wheel, and right here for the actual steering shaft itself. Get the pillars out of storage, get the headliner rewrapped. Unfortunately, I do not think it's gonna make it to the interior shop this month before Atlantic City, but that's fine because it can go there whenever. And once the interior is done, I think I'm leaning towards like a diamond stitch seat, and possibly, I say possibly, the door panels to get redone inside diamond stitching. And then steering wheel definitely will be getting replaced because I don't like this steering wheel at all. I know it is an O2 wheel, but it's kind of ate up, if you guys see. So the interior hasn't really been touched. We'll order up new carpet for it, but for now, we'll put this aside there, have it all fully detailed. It will all come clean, but I want this thing literally perfect, and I don't want any like rips inside my seats because that's literally no fun at all.